Happy July, everybody. I can't believe we're already moving into August. Yes, thank you, Giovanni. He is our micromanager here for today's presentation. Welcome to this month's Business Masterclass. My name is Laura Goldstein. I wear many hats around here. We have some members today, we have some guests. If you are new to us, Holistix Online is a resource center and a community hub for holistically minded professionals and those who want products, services to live a more holistically aligned lifestyle. We offer experiences for both professionals and seekers. So whether where you fit in that spectrum, welcome. We are so happy to have you here. And again, thank you so much for attending live. I am going to really hand it over to Katie, not Nails. See, now I got nails stuck
It's
in my head.
either way.
Nails, Katie Nehls, because she'll introduce herself way better than I ever would. I'm going to turn it over to her and we will get this party started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my name's Katie Nehls. Um, I started my career working in tech and then doing startups and then doing private equity marketing and mergers and acquisitions. And I found the reason I really love this topic of values and being aligned because I realized after 7 or so years that it really wasn't aligned with my true vision for what I wanted for my life, my values, everything else. So that's really important to me and why I chose this topic. And I started my business in 2020, a great year to do that. And I've been working with small businesses ever since. And I work with nonprofits, a lot of women-owned businesses, and a lot of people just living their purpose. So I'm going to share my screen and start our presentation today. Give me just 1 second. I have a little deck for you. Let me put this in present. Can everybody see my screen? Cool. So, topic today, aligned marketing, growing your business without compromising your values. And what we'll be covering today, why marketing can feel misaligned or performative, how to grow without adopting tactics that don't feel like you, and identifying your core values and letting them guide your decisions for marketing and business. And I find in life that's very useful. So why your marketing can feel misaligned or performative. So there, I'm going to go over 3 points. For one, I find the challenge to be that you're pretending to be someone you're not to please algorithms. So this is more for social media, or it could even be YouTube. Um, there's different trends that we see. There's like dancing trends. If you love dancing, that is aligned to you. If you don't, then it could feel really off when you do those things. There's a lot of other examples, but what I find is I usually will try something once. Or if it feels really misaligned, I don't try it at all. And a lot of this is about tapping into your intuition about what feels right for you. That being said, also growing outside of your comfort zone because sometimes being uncomfortable and intuition can get a little confusing. And so I really just try to say, okay, does this, and leaving that space to say, like, does this feel right to me? And I think a lot of time in business, we don't have, like, people don't tell us that direction. And it's been the best thing I've decided. And when I work with clients, I really guide them and we collaborate on what feels right for them and who they are, especially if it's a personal brand with a solopreneur or something like that, which I'm guessing a lot of you have businesses like that. This is our second point of sometimes the issue isn't misalignment, it's a skill gap. So it doesn't feel right because you are not producing the quality that feels right to you. I know this from my business. So it could be skills. So like, knowing how to do videography or getting a proper setup for a podcast, understanding data. There's a lot of things that, a lot of skills that you can learn and you can hire out for. And there's a big gray area here about what's worth spending money on having an expert help you, and with a small business, what is worth you investing your time to learn, so that month over month, if you don't have the budget for that, you can do it yourself and provide quality things that feel aligned with you. So what I usually suggest is people identifying skills and sitting down and thinking, okay, what can I work on at least a couple hours a week, if not more. Sometimes skills take a lot to develop, but at least like setting aside a couple hours a week to learn, I find really helps. And I want to do a little activity, so I'm not just talking at you. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to write down three marketing or business skills, or any skills that pertain to your business, that you want to learn or improve, that would help move you forward, to help you feel more comfortable with your marketing or business. And a few examples include knowing how to do social media content, taking better photos or videos. I find that to be a big one people do need to do themselves. Marketing copy, there's a lot of examples. So I'm just gonna set the timer for a couple minutes and then open it up. If anybody wants to share, I'll have one person share. And if not, no pressure. I know this can be really vulnerable to know we have gaps in our skills. So I'm gonna start the timer and let you write those three things down. So we'll start that now. You have about 30 seconds, so start to wrap up your ideas. That was time. I wanted to open it up if anybody wants to share a few skills that they're wanting to learn for their business.
I'm happy to share.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the first one is utilizing Substack, and then also taking better videos, and also product packaging.
Yeah, that's a big one. Packaging is a really good skill to have. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Uh, Violet?
Yeah, hi. So sorry for the background noise. For me, it's social media and videography. Like I'd love to be able to do like a co-post with another person in the wellness industry and like I took their class, but I'd like to turn it into kind of like people getting to know me.
And Layla, I think I pronounced that right. Sorry, I forgot
It's
how to.
Lolly. It's
Lolly. Okay,
Lolly.
sorry.
Yeah, think
Sorry.
about lollipop. So for
Okay.
me, it's also creating more energetic and compelling content on videos. I admit fully, I really hate taking videos of myself. So that's a really huge challenge of posts on social media or going live without worrying about it so much. It's like a biggest anxiety I get when I think about going live. And also copy that is more engaging rather than good information. Um, that people can actually interact with. I'm a scientist, so I get a little scientific-y, if you will. That's my project manager calls it. And I need to kind of get out of that and be more engaging. So that's the challenge for me.
Nice. Yeah, I hear a lot of content, and one thing I've learned even for myself and people I work with is just to keep doing it and do what feels true to you. Um, and sometimes you'll release things that you feel like, oh, you don't love it, but to make sure it's quality, but to just get it out there. So that's just a little tip before we move on. So thank you all for sharing. I'm gonna move on now. Um, so this is a big one I see. So overexposure to advice creates a lot of confusion, and we're in the age of information and AI and all these different sources that sometimes will work for you and sometimes won't, sometimes are valid and sometimes are not. And I also like to mention as well that AI can be a tool, but to really be careful about how you use it when you ask it questions because it can create strategies that sound really compelling that maybe are not the right fit for you, or it does make it so that you want to use it so it can be agreeable. And that's one thing I just tell people to be really discerning is the word when you're using AI, and also watching other videos online. We know this. We want to look at multiple sources and do stuff like that. And something else I came up with that I think really um sorry, this little box is in my way, as a decision filter. And this is just one example of a decision filter, but I think asking yourself, does this align with my values? Does this support my goals? Is this sustainable for my business? Meaning, like, can you keep doing this and stay consistent? Because sometimes we don't have the time or the energy to maintain something. And I find consistency is a big thing when you're doing marketing for your business. And then, are the results measurable? And those metrics could be a lot of different things. They don't just have to be monetary. So thinking through these questions when you're trying to make a decision or discern, like, is this the right choice for me, or is this going to eat up too much of my time? um is it actually going to work and fit and feel right and aligned for me? So we have another activity, another 2-minute challenge, using this decision filter, or if you want to create your own questions, you can. But think of one marketing idea you've been considering and use these questions, write down these questions, the answers to these questions. And then you don't have to decide today, but it could point you in the direction of, is this worth pursuing? And I also find that at any time, you can pivot if something doesn't feel right, or it worked before. A lot of marketing works for a long time and then you have to pivot. So this isn't the answer to this question forever. It can change. So I'm going to start the timer and allow you to write down one marketing idea you've considered and try using the decision filter. So I'll start that. We have about 30 seconds left. All right. I'm going to take, just for the sake of time, just one person, if one person would like to share. Does anybody have something they've been considering?
I'm happy to share.
Okay, go ahead.
So I did the challenge on all three of the marketing activities that I was considering. And for product packaging, it actually was just like a yes for on everything. So I was kind of like, wow. And that was the last thing I tested, the first two, Substack and Better Videos. Like Substack, I think the sustainability I wasn't sure about. And I realized, wow, I really need more information about engaging with Substack to know if it's sustainable for me right now. And with Better Videos, um, the measurable results, I wasn't sure about how I would be able to be certain that the results are measurable. And then for the product packaging, it just checked every box.
Cool. I love that. Because sometimes there are things too that, with the results, we have to do a little more research. So I think that's something else that came up while you were sharing is, maybe I need to do more research on this and see what else it entails. So
Mhm.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, I find this really useful for myself. So I hope I am also at the end of this, I am going to provide a worksheet that has a lot of this information. So I just wanted to mention that. Barry, did you want to share something?
Yeah, just being able to measure results to me is very important. I mean, if you can't measure the progress you're making with any activity, uh, how do you know whether it's working or not? And so, figuring a way, having a way to measure results before you implement anything I think is important. And then just from some of the questions, does it align with your value? Does it support your goals? If you've done a good job of branding and identifying your your where your heart is in your business and your mission and your goals and your target markets and developed consistent effective languaging that has energy, then all that kind of falls into place. You almost don't even need to ask those questions if you're following your brand.
Yeah. And sometimes that foundational piece is developing your brand as well and have, that messaging. And with small businesses, I find a lot, they sometimes don't have even those foundational pieces. So that could be a first step as well. So thank you for sharing.
I think
I'm gonna
a, a
go ahead.
lot of businesses think a brand is a logo and a tagline, and it's so much more than that. And they start marketing without a brand, without a consistent brand, and when it doesn't work, they don't know why.
Hmm.
And it's the branding more than it's the marketing, maybe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Alicia, did you have something to share too?
Yeah, when you're going through these questions, if the answer is like not a clear yes or no, if it's like a maybe or not sure, like for this is it sustainable? That's
Mhm.
one of the places where I'm like, I'm not sure if it is or isn't. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, sometimes you don't have to rush to make decisions either. I think something that's often overlooked is rushing into things and letting things develop over time. It's in business, I know we have this like set a metric, this really linear thinking, but how I've built my business and how I like to guide people is that sometimes the answers to things will come to you as you try other things or just over time as you're developing a business. So if you're not sure on something, don't spin your wheels. Give yourself time to let it unfold and this sounds a little esoteric, but let the answers come to you. I think that's something I've really found even when I worked in tech, like there were things like we did even at startups where like it didn't feel like the right time. So I wouldn't start that strategy or I wouldn't do that marketing tactic because it didn't feel like the right time. And again, I go back to like trusting your inner knowing that if you're really that unsure about something, don't start it or keep exploring, researching, get more information. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Lori, did you have something to mention as well?
Yes, I was just going to say along those lines, something that I realized about myself is going through these questions. I'm like, yes, it aligns my values, it supports my goals. But sometimes I don't really know. Like, I think that it does. I think that I will like it. I think that it will be supportive. But then when I try it, it's like, oh, yeah, that didn't really feel the way that I wanted it to feel, or that really didn't work out. So sometimes, like for me, I'm just like, okay, my business, this isn't an experiment. I have to experiment with what it is I think I want to be doing first, to really get a feel for it. We can't just like watch, like, oh, I love watching YouTube videos and watching movement classes. So, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that too. But watching is very different than actually doing in creating. So that was just kind of like throwing it out there that when we don't know, just, look at it as an experiment and try it.
Yeah, I love that insight. And marketing is all about experimenting. That is the number one thing is to always try new things. And marketing even changes over the years. So you're never going to make a decision, and that's going to be the end all be all. And that's also why metrics are so important and looking at results, because then you can see, like, is this successful in the way that I need it to be? And there'll be months sometimes where things are lower and some months where they're higher. So I also suggest to like keep consistent with whatever you're doing for multiple months before you say, I'm gonna throw in the towel. Yeah, but I love that insight. Yeah, thank you for sharing, everybody. Okay. So, and this is just a final little thing is how to grow without adopting tactics that don't feel like you. It's like focus on principles, not always trends. Sometimes trends for social media can help you get reach, but really focus on what those foundational things are. Build on your strengths instead of forcing someone else's formula. So just be true to yourself and even looking at what you're really good at and leaning into that versus trying to create this whole other persona of someone that you're not. Because I find that only works for so long. And you can fake it till you make it, but does that really feel like good to you? Often, I know for me, it doesn't when I'm trying to be too, I think sometimes I'll be too like structured or corporate. And then I'm like, this is not how I want to run my business. So that's just a little example. And then adapting strategies, again, that fit your personality, values, and audience, of course. And measure success by goals, not someone else's metrics. And this one, your goals could be something other than revenue. It could be having work-life balance. It could be, obviously we need to make money. It's a business, but it could be having a flexible schedule. It could be helping people. It could be all these other things that we don't always, that's not always like the metrics that I used to have to look at for when I worked in mergers and acquisitions, that's all we looked at. And I think the beauty of having your own business is that you can be a little more flexible and having other goals that you weigh as well. So that's just a few things. And then we're heading into this last part. So identifying your core values for your business. And this is just a quick thing. You can really dig deep into this, but your core values and letting that guide your decisions. So a few things is what matters most to me in my work or business. Um, for me, it's creating meaningful work, helping others, making a positive impact. I really love building genuine relationships and having a flexible schedule. And then how do I want clients or customers to experience my business is a second one. So I want them to feel heard, valued, supported, respected, and confident in my expertise. And then a final question is what would I never do to sacrifice, or what would I never want to sacrifice for growth? And this one I think is a huge, just maybe I should have put this first, but I do like to go through this in this order, because you really have to know where your values are, what you're willing to do for your business, and how you want to show up in the world, especially as a small business owner, and especially in the holistic space. I think that matters a lot more to people. But you could make a lot of sacrifices and reach your goals, and then it feels empty or it's just not aligned with, where you wanted to go in your life. And I find that's more why businesses fail than by trying new things, being flexible, having a growth mindset, and all those things. So I think that's a really important thing. And then, Laura, do we have time? I have one more like couple minute activity, or
Yeah,
I
we
could,
have
okay.
time.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
All right. I put 3 minutes on here, but I'm gonna make this two, and then screenshot this. This will also be in the worksheet. But going through the same questions that I just said, like what matters most to me in my work, how do I want clients or customers to experience my business, and then what would I never want to do to sacrifice, or what would I never want to sacrifice for growth in my business? So I'm gonna give you just a couple minutes to write these down. And yeah, I'll start the timer now. You have about 30 seconds. All right, that's time. I'll just take one person, brief share. Does anybody want to share any of their values that they figured out for these questions? Lolly, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, sure, I can share.
Sure, go ahead.
So what matters most to me in my work is helping others change their health and their life and their outcomes, and freedom to help people in meaningful ways without having to always worry about money. How do I want my clients to experience my work? is feeling confident and supported and heard, and knowing that they can rely on me and they trust me with their health. And what would I never want to sacrifice for growth is my integrity, my quality of my care for my clients, my own health, and my time and freedom.
Beautiful. Oh, well, thank you for sharing. And again, I have this worksheet that if you scan this QR code or go to this URL, has a worksheet with all these questions, and that'll allow you to, I know some of this, 2 minutes is not enough for a lot of this. So that's why I wanted to make a worksheet for everybody to look at. So you can download that from my website. So I'll give you a second to either screenshot that or grab the URL. Oh, and I'll also drop that in the
Hey, how's it going?
let me drop that in the chat real quick too. So there's the link. And then here's my contact info if anybody wants to reach out with questions or to work together. Yeah, you can take a picture of that as well, a little digital business card. And other than that, wanted to open it up for any Q&A, either questions for this or any other questions. I'm open to that.
And we're sharing if more people want to share.
Sure. Yes. Sorry.
That's
Thank you,
fine.
Laura.
Yeah.
Hi. I would actually love to share from the most.
goes right back out. Like I feel
Go
like
ahead.
Hold on. We got some. Hold on. I'm gonna mute some people here. Okay. I'm sorry. Whoever wanted to talk, go ahead and unmute yourself again. I had to unmute everybody for background.
Okay, thanks. So for the first question, I was realizing like what I really am wanting to accomplish with my business, like what matters to me the most in my work. And at first, I wrote supporting at-risk businesses. I feel like a lot of the times businesses in the wellness space, like just by their nature, a lot of people who are focused on wellness don't always put themselves first, and that sometimes results in the business not being put first too. And also sometimes they don't really care much about structure, which is something that is structure is best embraced once you're like hoping to thrive and expand in business. And then I was like, wow, like that's so interesting. Like the idea of just focusing on like wanting to support at-risk businesses. Like I definitely want like everyone who is like a wellness entrepreneur to thrive and grow in that space and become like viable. But I was like, that's so interesting that I kind of am mentally like cutting myself off from already working with, businesses that might already be thriving. And so I changed it to supporting business growth in the wellness space. I'm an attorney. I work, and my firm is specifically business and contract law for wellness-based businesses. And I'm like, you know what? Supporting business growth in the wellness space, like no longer thinking that I have to be working with people that are struggling or, completely new to business. So I was just really happy to kind of realize that like mental limitation that I have given myself, and it makes perfect sense also for the type of clients that I have.
Yeah, that like more of yeah, that thriving businesses or growing businesses, that shift can sometimes, some people are struggling, but yeah, opening up that view. Did you have any answers to the other questions or insights or?
Oh yeah, for what I want people to experience is like fun and ease and feeling seen. I know the other woman who shared said feeling heard. And I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. We're like kind of those are kind of like this almost the same thing, but I think we probably all feel that way. Like we want people to yeah, like feel seen and heard and acknowledged in what they're doing and who they are, and also empowered. I know people have the point of view that lawyers are boring or the law just stifles a lot of the time their business, especially if you're in a regulated industry. But I really enjoy working with people, and like at the end of our meeting or at the end of a project, them like I'll ask like, wasn't that fun? Did you have a good time? Like, and it wasn't as daunting as they thought it might be to speak with an attorney. So yeah, fun, ease, feeling seen and empowered. And personally, my well-being is the one thing like I do not want to sacrifice for. I know lawyers have like a lot of mental health issues and substance abuse issues in the legal field. And I've really tried to structure my practice and in the way that really supports my business, and my business can just be a supportive component of my life. And it has been a huge exercise in probably the past year of really instilling more boundaries in my practice, and just to make sure that that's the case. And as I expand, I want to continue that for myself and the people who work with me.
Perfect. Is there any other shares or questions that anybody has?
I'd love to say something.
Sure.
Hi,
Hi,
Katie.
Casey.
Hi. So I just wanted to tell everyone, hi, everyone. I wanted to say Katie and I met several years ago. And when I saw this coming up today, I knew that I would be in tune with a lot of the questions that you asked, my friend. But I want to thank you for the exercises and kind of the more comprehensive list of questions, because while many of them are like, yes, this all makes sense and it's all things I've already thought of, there were some that really kind of like hit home today. Things like, is it sustainable for your business? As someone who has a lot of ideas and wants to do all the things, I often overcommit myself. I don't know if anyone else can relate. So that was a good like reminder today, as well as to, while a lot of the answers are kind of under the surface, to kind of deliberately ask the questions, I think is something that I don't often do because I'm always moving so quickly. So I just wanted to thank you for all of that. And now I have some work to do to figure out kind of what needs to adjust based on what came up for me today. So thank you, darling.
Oh, thank you, Tracy.
I want to do all the things too.
I
And
think
my
that's why
problem
it's
is
so
I kind of already do all the things. So like now what do I do?
How do I juggle all of the things?
Yeah, or make limits and readjust. And that's actually what the season that I'm in right now is, making some changes, and I'm trying to define what that is. And it's really challenging because it's hard to say no to things that you enjoy, even if they're not really aligned with the rest of the business.
Yeah. I want to echo that gratitude, and just the amount of questions that you brought to this presentation. Like, it's just been very therapeutic. I hear that other people are having that same experience. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody to just trust themselves and that you have the answers to these questions. That I could advise, I can marketing consult all day, every day, which I do, but I also like to direct back to like us understanding ourselves and knowing ourselves. And that's not really a traditional way of marketing so much, but yeah, I want to encourage everybody to really trust the answer to their questions, and that might change, as I said. So I appreciate that. Yeah. Anybody else?
Katie, I'm going to ask you to stop
Okay.
share
Oh, yes.
quick.
Sorry.
Yep, so I can see everybody. Excellent.
Perfect.
Before we hop off, we are a community, and it would be nice to know what you are marketing. We know that Sarita is the not boring attorney, so we got her down. But for the rest of you, just really quickly, like, what are you marketing here, just so we know each other a little bit. I'm going to call on order of my screen. So if you don't want to talk, so sorry, I'm going to call it. Um, Lale, you go ahead first.
Sure, thank you. I am Lale, also known as Dr. Lale. I'm a nutritional healing doctor. From a former being research scientist, I work with people with cancer and chronic conditions, severe chronic conditions, including Parkinson's as well. with customized food prescriptions that are based on their genetics and biology. So that's what I do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Glad you were here. Barry, I know what you're marketing, but maybe some of the guests do not.
Find the unmute button here. Good morning. Barry Bevier. I'm the founder of Mindful Longevity, holistic health mentoring that empowers lives. I work with people that are ready to take their health into their own hands, and we create a health style that gives you more focus, energy, and keeps your brain young as you get older.
Wonderful. Thank you, Barry. Tracy.
Hi, everyone. I am in Santa Cruz, California. I've been a coach for 14 years, and I do two main things to be able to describe. One is called the Gather Community, which is an online community for women, entrepreneurs, and leaders. We do things like co-working and networking, and we have summits and workshops and all those kinds of fun businessy side of things. And we welcome any women or women identifying people to join us specifically for things like networking, no matter what your field is. The other thing that I do, which is the thing that's hard to describe because it's part of what's changing, is I have something called the Bold and Brilliant Studio, and that is to offer physical, digital, and experiential opportunities for people to serve. It's hard to describe because it's evolving, to support their clients and their people in things like personal growth and business growth. I also create personalized and customized gifts and things that you can give to your clients. I also do retreats. I have a podcast. Like, it's all the things. So as I said
You do
earlier,
all the
it's all the
things.
things, and I'm trying to like create an umbrella and do a bunch of stuff. So that's what I got today.
Excellent. Thanks, Tracy. Sarita, do you want to add anything else, or did you completely share about you?
So I have my law firm. I also have a book. It's called Happy Bar Prep, and I focus on bringing mental and essentially just holistic wellness practices to law students and attorneys. So if anyone ever has anything they want to share in that space, then please reach out to me.
Nice. Yeah, make sure your contact information is in the chat, everybody. Lisa, who I thought was a member, but is not a member yet.
Hello. So I just recently graduated from the IORH as a regenerative health practitioner, certified regenerative health. And so I was all ready to go with that. And then I found some machines that are like literally moving mountains for people, and they're not changing anything diet and lifestyle. So I'm like, okay, whoa. And I'm looking at, like, I need to have a physical brick and mortar to have them use the machines. So I'm actually looking now for a space. And I also kind of like do all the things. And so I wrote my book. I'm finishing up my book to publish it. I was fluoroquinolone antibiotic damaged badly. So I was afloxy. So that's a part of it. Like I definitely want to help the community, and I lead Zooms and help that community. But yeah, like everything health and wellness, and I'd like to have like Tracy is doing, networking and a local event space, and kind of, do, like, I know Jim Donovan. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He does vagus nerve work and drumming, and sound bowls and yoga and all the things. So it's a lot. I don't know if it's all going to happen right now. I'm waiting to see I've looked at a couple spaces. I'm waiting to see what happens.
And Katie's like, you can't market all the things.
Thank you for having me here. So I don't know if you guys know human design or not, but I'm also way into human design, and I'm a manifesting generator. So I'm built to do all the things.
Excellent. Well, that's part of Katie's message. Know what sustains you. Know what you value. All right, Alicia.
Yeah, it fills my cup. It's not, I seem all over the place to some, but for me, it's normal.
All right, Alicia.
Hi, everyone. I have two businesses. One is Earthwise Coaching, where I do leadership development coaching for those who want to have a deeper connection with their own inner knowing and be able to make aligned decisions in a very fast-paced environment. And I also have Wise Path Tarot, where I'm teaching folks how to develop their intuition through the tarot as a modality to build that.
Wonderful. Thank you. I love tarot. It's a bunch of fun. Violet, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Violette, and
Oh, Violet.
yeah,
Okay.
that's all right. That's all right. It's
You
I
probably
go
spend your entire life correcting people. Well, I
and
do too, because I get Lore, and then people are like Lori, and sometimes they'll add other random letters. So I get it. Violet. Excellent.
and so I go by V a lot of the time, just the letter.
Mhm.
And I am a breathwork coach. I am doing spiritist breathwork. So just very new website just got up 2 months ago.
Wonderful, short and sweet. Excellent. Welcome, Violette. Nice to meet you. All right, thank you so much, Katie. Please make sure you save the chat, that you get her information, that you download her um, worksheet that she crafted together for us so that we can ask ourselves all of the right questions. I appreciate you being here, Katie, and sharing your wisdom.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, and it was such a great group. So thank you, everyone.
We'd love to see everybody at our next gathering. Next week, we have our strategic roundtable mastermind. It's still guest access month. So if you are a guest, make sure you register for that. It's just bringing questions to the table and helping a fellow professional out. You can also find days and times on our website of all of our events coming up. Holistix with an X online.com. There's also information on there about membership if you are interested in becoming a member. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Katie. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie.